Brand disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed on this platform by individuals, callers, or invited guests are their own. The information you hear does not reflect the overall views of all parties associated with the brand. We encourage everyone to research all things heard live or via archive for edification purposes. Discretion is advised.
Help keep the show on the air. If you want to help, you can send your donation through PayPal. The email is debatetalkforyou@gmail.com or through Cash App, $Sal Showtime. Thanks for your support.
Shalom Care, grooming essentials for the modern man of color. Shalom Care, grooming essentials for the modern man of color. Paraben-free, peace with care. For beard mousse, armpit mousse, or jock mousse, visit shalomcareforyou.com. Shalom Care.
All praises to the Most High. Good evening, my people, and welcome to Reparations Talk here on the platform Debate Talk for You here on YouTube Live. My name is King Melek ZakarYah. I am your host for this evening. I am the owner at Shalom Care, grooming essentials for the modern man of color. Shalom Care for the all natural grooming products, and I'm also the activist for the reparations for the modern day descendants of American Negro slaves and the host of Reparations Talk. And tonight, what we want to do, I want to discuss reparations from the angle of music and marketing. The ways that music and marketing materials were used throughout the 18th century to intimidate our people and to make fun of our people, the American Negro, the modern day descendants of American Negro slaves. We're going to say post-American slavery, during the time when we were supposed to be free and equal American citizens, when we were constantly being intimidated, being made to look silly, and actually being lynching. So we're going to cover music, marketing materials, and we're going to cover the issue of lynching as well. And then what I'd like to do is, out of the listeners, we see who has some comments and some questions. So the first thing, the definition of the definition of reparation is let me let me see if I have that here. So, music, marketing, and religion. The music that was produced by a lot of the artists back then to basically the mic is going in and out. We got to fix the mic level here. Let me get here and fix that. The mic is going in and out. All praise to the Most High, and smoothly and evenly. So we want to make sure that the sound is coming through smooth, and my voice isn't going in and out. So we're going to get that fixed. Okay, is that better now? Somebody let me know if that's how that is. But I'm gonna continue on. Okay, so let's look at some of the what I want to do is actually start with a poem that I wrote regarding people. This is based on the um, the insurgents on Washington. When that group of Trump supporters um, stormed the White House about 2 months ago, the first thought that I had was about our people who were enslaved at the time, who, under bitter constraints, was the foundation of the labor that built the White House. Okay, so I wanted to start with that. This is a piece of spoken word that came out of my spirit when I saw all of these people, these white people, storming the same. I'm on a laptop, and it should be fine. Because we I broadcasted out of this same laptop last week and didn't have a problem with my sound levels. So I'm not sure what's going on. Um, correctly. And I'm right up on the computer here. We're checking the levels now. So we're going over the audio. Let me get this right, folks, first, so that you guys will be able to hear. Let's see, communications mic 2, retalk, stereo mix, microphone, uh, real tag. So I don't think the issue is volume. I think the issue is just me going in and out. My voice going in and out. I think that's the issue. Okay. Let me know if that's smooth, please. Okay. So I wanted to start real quick with the I wanted to start real quick with the poem that I wrote, the spoken word poem, and then I want to jump into the music part of how they used to intimidate us, and then some marketing materials, um, how they would also try to make us look silly, and then we'll get into the lens. Am I smooth now? I just want to make sure I'm smooth. I fixed my sound problem. Okay, so my people, okay, great. When they stormed the White House a couple months ago, they were upset that Trump lost the election. This was in January, and this is when Biden took the White House with his new vice president Kamala Harris. Okay, and so when they spent White House, my instant thought was our people, American Negro slaves at the time, who were the foundation of the uncompensated labor that built the structure, the foundation of the White House, and many of those monuments that are standing until today. So we have a vested interest, um, and, and we have our labor, our effort in the building of this country is evident and documented. And I'm telling you, the reparations are due, are long overdue our people. So here's this spoken word piece that I wrote, or poem. The reasoning of other realms that may watch in the sensibility which balances out the universe. From these views looking in, the only race of people that might with great reason storm the White House in and vandalize and take things, take over TV cameras and spray people with mace, would be that people's modern day ancestors of those who, under bitter constraints, built the White House and These people have a legitimate, unpaid bill for compensation for hundreds of years. I have a volume on my laptop that needs to be higher. See, the issue that he's saying is that it's not volume, it's that my voice is going in and out. And so somehow there's nothing. Okay. Oh no, because I don't want it to be difficult for so I have a production person who is listening, who's not getting good sound. Now, what I'm thinking, Brother Gabar, is it just you? Because I have a couple other people listening who are saying that they can hear me fine. So I wonder if it's just you. So let me continue. Let me continue. So let me continue here because it might just be you, Brother Gabar. So that was my poem. We want to talk about. Let me go here. Let me go here. Reparations definition.
Here's the definition of reparation: the making of amends for a wrong one has done by paying money to or otherwise helping those who have been wronged.
Okay, she stayed there for me. I'm just going to keep going just in case. I think I have to assume that for the time. Okay, so let's see. So here we go. So the definition of the word reparations, the making of amends for a wrong one has done by paying money to or otherwise helping those who have been wronged. So a good example of this is 1980. For their treatment, I think it was either by the Japanese. So when that happened, the United States government had an issue with the American Japanese and so years later, 1988, the United States government did issue an apology to the Japanese people They received, they did receive reparations. They were financially compensated for the pain, for the shame, for the embarrassment, for the inconvenience um, that they suffered at the hands of the American government. The making of amends for a wrong one has done by paying money to or otherwise helping those who have been wronged. Okay, so you know that was pretty. That was a rough thing that happened to the Japanese at that time. I'm going to say that was rough. I'm going to say that was out of line. I'm going to say it wasn't fair to them. I'm going to say they deserve the reparations. But can I also say, when it comes to the modern day descendants of American Negro slaves, for that period of American slavery from 1865, excuse me, from 1619 to 1865, excuse me, um, for the American pastime lynching, for a period of time where our infants and toddlers be used for alligator bait. Okay, for the intimidation and the embarrassment of the minstrel era, where white um, white actors and actresses mocking us, making fun of us. Would we not be due reparation for that? And then we discussed this last week. In 1906, the the area of Greenwood, the area which came to known just outside of Tulsa as Greenwood, Oklahoma, became known in its heyday as the Black Wall Street. And so in 1921, that was bombed from the air, burned, and there was a murderous rampage by a huge white mob. Now, we did get into some of the details, but the bottom line is in 1921, our people, Black people, suffered a huge setback economically, physically, spiritually, emotionally. So it's interesting. I find it interesting that the Speaker of the House or the Representative Mitch McConnell would step forward and pompously state, well, no white person living today ever owned slaves. And if we were to give reparations, it would just be impossible to even identify anyone who could pay this. Well, how difficult is it to see who would pay, who should pay? It's not difficult. So the the assumption that we can't think for ourselves or we can't look around and see the evidence and uncover the documented evidence that points to all of this all of these crimes and atrocities that have been committed against our people over the last 150 years at least. So yeah, so let's take a look at the ice cream truck song. The ice cream truck song that we all grew up listening. We're going to music here. When I look at the ice cream truck song, everybody's texting me, and I'm live here. But people have they're doing shout outs and letting me know how things are going and hitting me up. Um, I gotta let them know I'm live now. So let's go over this marketing material here. Right now we have up on the screen. I think everybody can see it. This is an artist called Harry C. Brown, who was a minstrel artist, and he recorded this song entitled "Nigga Loves a Watermelon" with Columbia Records, and it was recorded, produced, and released in 1916 here in America. And it was all the craze. It was all the big hit. It was all just the favorite thing to make fun of Black people, make fun of the American Negro, make us silly and make jokes about us. And let me see if I can. So the title of the song is "Nigga Loves a Watermelon," and as we can see here, we see that the chorus from the song is "Nigga love a watermelon, ha 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 ha, nigga love a watermelon, ha 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 ha." Hit the banjo and we'll have another tune. There's nothing like a watermelon for a hungry coon. Okay, so let's see. I wanted to play you just a little bit of the song from YouTube, the ice cream truck version of it. If you guys, I don't think I have the ice cream truck version, but I'll just hum it. So when you hear the ice cream truck playing this particular song, this is what you hear. You hear na 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 na. And then the chorus comes in. Nigga love a watermelon, ha 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 ha. Nigga love a watermelon, ha 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 ha. It's a banjo and we'll have another tune. There is nothing like a watermelon for a hungry coon. Now, it's terrible that I can sing that and I can't sing it live. If you don't hear the lyrics, you won't have the understanding of the magnitude of the harm, of the disrespect to our people. And that we in the 60s, 70s, we grew up running to the ice cream truck when you would hear this song. And we had no idea of the history, of the foundation of the song, and what a slam it was to our people, and how it was meant to intimidate us and meant to make fun of us and meant to make us look silly. Let's go over the beginning of the song. Let me see if I can get to the next mem here. Okay, here's what the beginning of the song. So this is kind of like today's time. This would be the rap, the interlude of the song before the song would start. And the singer says, "Hold up, Jackson. Time to cut a watermelon. You niggas, quit throwing them bones and come down here and get your ice cream." So then the black man will say, "Ice cream?" And the singer will say, "Yes, ice cream. Colored man's ice cream, watermelon." So I guess that's supposed to be funny. That's we love watermelon. So like that's our ice cream. We love that instead of ice cream. While the white man is eating ice cream, we eating watermelon. I guess that's the sense of that. So the singing begins, and then the first verse starts with, "Well, I went down to Coonville the other afternoon. There I saw a yellow gal. Her name was Susie Loon. She was sitting on a rail with the book to her back. Okay, because she was working in the field. She was taking a break, eating watermelon to make that nigga fat. She says, 'I'm Susie, dear. Would you give your heart to me?'" So, it's just ridiculous. So, what I'm doing here, folks, is I'm just making a case. I'm just putting it out there so that are due. And if the United States of government doesn't want to give it to us, then get out of our way. Allow us to rebuild a community for ourselves. And I'm going to go back to the Black Wall Street. Okay, a thriving, self-sustaining city, literally a city that Black people built, where we were economically sufficient, self-sufficient. We're talking about 600 businesses. We're talking hotels, churches, supermarkets, movie theaters, bus line, taxis. You know, uh, um, everything a city would have. So we would be in, today here in 2021, we as a people had the Black Wall Street had not been destroyed, we would be in a different place as Black people economically today. Okay, so let's move to the next slide. So this song is just a slap in the face to our people, and the fact that it plays on a regular basis today is just bad, my people, and something should be done about it. Okay, so this is a closer look at Harry's comic minstrel songs recorded from 1916. Now this is going to be his bio. Skilled banjo player, Brown performed in vaudeville for 7 years before recording a series of songs for Columbia Records, starting in 1916. His first record, perhaps his most well-known, is Into the Straw, released in March 1916. Brown appropriated the standard as a coon song. It is commonly referred to as one of the most racist songs in American music. The song relied heavily on the watermelon stereotype, I believe popularized in the 19th century, that the American Negro, I'm not African, so that's the label that just Jackson slapped on us in 1988. So popularized in the 19th century that American Negroes had an unusual appetite for watermelons. Trust me, in the 19th century, in the year 1916, there were very few Africans over here in this country. And the ones that were here were probably living in the North, and they were free Blacks. Okay, keep in mind, when slavery was in its heyday, in full force, there were slave states in the South, and then northern states were freed states. Okay, and then once slavery ended, we had a move into the Jim Crow laws. So the southern states really highly enforced the Jim Crow laws, and in northern states they were a little bit more relaxed about it, which is why in the late 50s, early 60s, there was a huge migration of American Negroes from southern states into the northern states. My parents and all of my mother's siblings happened to be a part of that migration, that great migration north. And I happen to be a product of Vicksburg, Mississippi parents. Both my parents were born and raised and grew up as children and young adults in the Jim Crow South. But they did migrate north, and I happened to be born in the state of Illinois and traveled down to Mississippi yearly during the summers. So let me see if I can get to the next mem. So that was his bio, a little bit of information about him and how the song was developed. You just have to kind of use your imagination through the time, 1916, and what it was like in America. And that's not the only song. There was actually another song he did called "Nigga Love Possum," and a lot of times the diet of our people back then was whatever we could get, whatever was left for us. And so I think our people did shoot and eat possums. So now let's move into some marketing materials. So we looked at the music, particular song. Now we're going to get into some marketing materials during the 18th and early part of the 19th century. How all products, most of the products that are being sold in the American economy that are being produced, labels are being made. You're going to see that the going theme was going to be nigga this, nigga that. So here we have, and they use the southern twang, kind of make fun. You've heard what I said. niggerhead, tarso. I've been in the South. I can imitate a Southern accent. I've seen the movies. I can imitate a Southern accent a little bit. So, so this is niggerhead tarso. And look at now you got to understand these artists are white racists, and so they take great pride in drawing up, sketching up, and drawing up these cartoons. What a black person to them looks like. The big red lips, the cheekbones and the round ears. So it was a big deal, at any cost to make us look silly and ridiculous. Let me get the next slide. Let's see what other products. What is this here? Now, this looks like an advertisement for what? Let's see. Hasmala. Hasmala at the top. The new sensation. All clothes look alike to me. Yeah, so we see that that theory developed. All black people look alike. I swear, that is a thought that was very common in America. That all black people look alike. It was just stupid. It was silliness. Um, because we are all black people, but we are different black nations. Now that we know our own history, so this might even be a song, probably the front page of a song. What I'm thinking. I'm really thinking that's what this is. I'm gonna turn my volume down so that doesn't come off no more. So all tunes look alike. So I think this is going to be a song. Imagine what that sounds like. Let's move on to the next slide. And let's look at some other products that were out on the market during the late 18th into the 19th century, probably even before. This is going to be Niggerhead, who is this distributed by your Niggerhead, using an older guy, uh, actually a nice smile. But the intimidation is clear. The objective here is clear. What they're trying to do, and you need to understand. This was real common. This was real normal. This was their life. This was their thought. This was their dreams. This is what they love to do, was intimidate and make fun and make us look silly. Let's go next. The American people, and bringing home soap pads. The soap is in the pad. Okay. So there's people here who out here who say, well, why do you have a problem with this? What's the matter? Why are you bringing this up? It happened so long ago. Well, what's wrong with you? Well, when you say this is just a false statement that this does not affect any of our people today. When you take that attitude as a white person, you're just as guilty as your ancestors who sit silent and and that you you take no attention for this. I'm a lot more calmer these days because when I used to, the first time I heard this stuff and learned about things, it upset me and I was angry for a while. Now let's see, what is this? I think this is another song. Songs. Um, like I said, music and marketing, it's all mixed up in here. So what is this? It's yo nigga if you want me, Liza Jane. Oh, Isa. Oh no, Isa. Isa yo nigga if you want me, Liza Jane. Okay? I can't even that. I can't get into that groove. Isa. Isa your nigga. Yeah, I'm a coon you. Let's go to the next one. So what's this? Nigger hair, smoking tobacco, smoker chew. This is tobacco, smoking, and you can either smoke it or and the theme here is nigger hair. Okay, yeah, that could be the case. Wait a minute now. I thought I had this on mute. I had it turned down, and it's just still coming through. So yes, we got nigger hair smoking tobacco here. Let's go. Let's see what the next product is. What I got here. We're just giving you some examples, people. So we already saw the nigger head shrimp. Let me see what I got next up here. I think we're gonna get into the lynching. Um, yeah, we looked at that. That's a song. So we got the music and the marketing here. Let's see what we got. Okay, so I'm gonna need my technician to come in here and see if I got the lynching because I want to discuss the move. I want to move now to the lynching, the American pastime of lynching our people, and I want to just give you a little bit of history on that, a little bit of knowledge on that. Okay, and then yeah, if I let's see if I back up a little bit. Okay, let's talk about this American pastime of lynching our people. Now, when I say American pastime, what am I saying? I'm saying that white Americans, you got to understand, at this time, the majority of people, and people whose lives mattered most, were racist white people. Particularly in certain, areas. Now, let me just say something about white people because I'm not trying to spread hate right now. I'm not trying to get black people angry and to start attacking white people and start cussing white people on sight. That's not the goal here. The goal here is to politely speak truth, politely claim truth, and to take control, take ownership of the darkness and the pain that my people went through. As a modern day descendant, I'm connected to my ancestors. So this is not about spreading hate to white people, but it is about being honest and being truthful about a horrible period in America and about the pain, the brokenness, the justified anger that our people can have and should have. But I tell you this for certain. I tell you this for certain. Be assured, white people, any person who has a problem with this, any white people who are listening, modern day American Negroes would never do to you what your ancestors, we don't have that in us. We would never do these horrific, horrifying things to you. It's not going to happen. We understand how sensitive you are because listening to this conversation will lay you out. You can't handle the words. So we don't need to attack. We don't need to cuss you out. We don't need to do nothing to you because the Most High will take care of you in His timing as He sees fit. And He does not need none of us to do His job for Him in His timing. So we're just acknowledging here. We're connecting with our soul. I'm connecting with what my ancestors went through because I am connected to it. I feel it in my spirit. Now, lynching in the United States was a widespread occurrence. I want to say American. Google has it, they're describing it as a widespread occurrence, which, be that as it may, is very true and quite accurate. Beginning in the 1830s in the antebellum South until the Civil Rights Movement in the 1950s and 60s. So as recent as 1960s and even into the 80s, there were pocketed incidents and situations where believe, in fact, I think even found some land where so it does happen recently. And then we want to look at spiritual lynchings, other acts of violence like the shootings, the way our people are being killed by police. So history of lynching. This is by the NAACP. I'm just going to read a little bit here of what what this lynching would have been like for American Negroes during this time. Now, what you're looking at here, this was postcard. So you need to understand. Now we're back into marketing. We're going back and forth between music and marketing and music, which was fashioned and produced and publicly displayed against our people. And we're talking about grocery stores, and products. We're talking about postcards. We're talking about publications that would be posted, publicly. Back then, because there was no internet, so they did have newspapers. They had public notices, places where they posted public notices. When people will be walking down the street, they can go to a certain place where everything happening in the city will be posted, and a lot of things regarding our people would be posted. So let's look. Let me just share this information with you. Throughout the late 19th century, racial tension grew throughout the United States. More of this tension was noticeably in the southern parts of the United States. In the South, white people were blaming their financial problems on the newly freed slaves that lived around them. Okay? So white people's financial woes were being blamed on the newly freed slaves that lived around them. Okay? Lynchings were becoming a popular way of resolving some of the anger that whites had in relation to free. Okay, so this was like their therapy. Okay, they had to have therapy, and their therapy was to just resolve their issues, resolve their anger, resolve their despair, try to resolve their financial frustration. Come on, somebody. 19, what, years ago, less than 60 years ago, 4,743 lynchings occurred in the United States. Of these people that were lynched, 3,446 were Black. So, yes, people also lynched. So you couldn't be black and you couldn't help nobody. There'd be nobody who would help anybody black. So where we at? So um, the blacks lynch counted for 72.7% of the people lynched. These numbers seemed large, but it is known that not all the lynchings were ever recorded. So many lynchings occurred. Know about. You hear the oral stories. You'd have to hear the actual testimony of stories that were passed down to family members and close friends. Okay. So 27%, 27.3%. Many of the whites lynched were lynched for helping the black or being anti-lynching and even for domestic crimes. So, like I just said, if a person was willing to help as well. So, which really the level and white people do us dirty and dog us out and intimidate us. They're also willing to do that stuff if it gets to it. So, lynching necessary? To many people, it was not. But to whites in the late 19th century, it served a purpose. Whites started lynching because they felt it was necessary to protect white women, which is ridiculous. Rape though was not a great factor in reasoning behind the lynching. It was the third greatest cause of lynching, behind homicides and all other causes. So many of the blacks were being lynched were trumped up, were made up for fabrications. It's just a false belief system that spread among racist white people. So I had learned about the story. I don't have any other names, but I'm going to tell you about this grocery store called the People's Grocery Store. I believe it was somewhere in Tennessee, where these three brothers opened up this People's Grocery Store, and it was I see pictures of it. And one of the owners, the main one, was a good friend of Ida B. Wells. They had a real good relationship. All three of them were family, and they had wives and children playing together. And they opened up this really nice People's grocery store. And um, there was a white grocery store on the opposite end that struggled, and his struggling, um, his lack of business, he blamed it on the People's Grocery Store. And one afternoon, I believe, a white mob showed up. Black owners happened to be there, as they were every day, and they were there a big fight ensued. It was and because back then everybody had guns. Even black people had guns. Black men had their guns, and you know they were allowed to. But everybody, you got to be responsible with weapons. You got to be responsible with guns, and people were. But so this white mob shows up to the People's Grocery Store, and a gun battle ensues. The black men defend themselves, and several white men are killed. Like 6 white men are killed, and so obviously then the story that we know that we're all familiar with over and over is that when you have black men in jail accused of doing anything white people, um, they don't wait for a fair trial. Um, they mob the jail. So they broke into the jail. They pulled the black men out. They took them out to a remote area. And as I read the story, what it said is that but it was only saying that white fought. They fought as much as they could, but they ended up. this outraged Ida B. Wells. She was hurt by this because her friend, forgive me for not having his name, but I've been compiling so much information for the show. This is my second. Know how much I love, the great love I have for our people, and just please work with me as I show, because this is near and very deep and dear to my heart. But Ida B. Wells at the time, educator and speaker, she was a prominent black woman, well educated. And matter of fact, she wrote, she started a newspaper, and her newspaper was vandalized. It broke in, they tore it up, and she essentially got away with her life, and she had to relocate out of state in order to save her life. So our people had been through it. My people, we have been through it in this country, and the notion of reparations should not be as ridiculous as it is looked at by other people. And a lot of now I have a couple pages on Facebook. One page is called Reparations for the Modern Day Descendants of American Negro Slaves. And then the other one is Reparations Talk for the Show. And on the first page, a lot of people, a lot of white people chimed in, and they're just very upset. They're just indecent, and they're just turned up in a raw, negative way about um, American blacks expecting any reparations. And then I think we also have a former football player named Herschel Walker who came forward and tried to say that we don't deserve any reparation, that he's not looking for it, he don't see why we need it, and so it's not just white people who are against reparations for our people. You're going to find that the our very blood counterparts, other American Negroes, modern day American Negroes who are wealthy, who are who are financially well made off, and who are doing very good for themselves, will be our greatest adversary. Oh yes, they'll be our greatest adversary. So let me see if I can get the next slide to come up. I just want you to take a look at some of these live lynching photos, because I have a couple comments. Let me see if I can get the next slide to come up. My people. Once again, this is Reparations Talk with King Melek ZakarYah here live here in the Los Angeles area, and we're just talking about reparations. I'm presenting reparations. Let me see. I should have. I don't know. Is that my last slide? Shouldn't be. I think I have another one. But the thing that I wanted to point out about these slides is that after these, well, the first thing about a lot of our people who were lynched is they weren't necessarily vagrant, homeless American Negroes. You're going to find that most of the lynched black people in America were going to be your turn of the century, well-to-do entrepreneurs, business-minded, very responsible, with a lot of integrity, with a lot of discipline, bringing beautiful things. And out of their success would come white backlash, white jealousy. And so our people, they felt the need to really keep our people under control. So so that intimidation was fair. So I just know how our people dealt with it. When you think about some of these things that our people went through, you wonder how could there even still be a black person even alive today? But we made it through. We're resilient people. So that's all I'll say that about the lynchings. And that the other thing about the lynchings is that you're going to notice. I wish I could get these other pictures up, but what they'll do is they'll lynch the person. They'll finish torturing them. Then they'll pose. They'll pose for pictures. they'll be posing, taking portraits with dead bodies of our ancestors, with their guts hanging out, blood dripping down, or setting the body on fire. So the most amazing thing to me is that these white people would then go home and get a good night's rest. They would sleep well. How do you do that? I'm not sure how you do that. So you're a different breed. Something's different about you. You have a hard heart. You're cruel. Okay, you have a complex, a serious complex. What I'm seeing here. So let me see here. All praises to the Most High for truth. Now, what we saw, I wanted to go to one scripture here real quick regarding the word nigger, because though they made the word nigger negative, the word nigger, and originally it's not a negative word. Now, the white folks, we didn't go around, particularly in the early years of slavery, 19, you gotta understand, we got off those slave ships speaking our own native tongue. We had a belief system, and so everything that we learned, we were we were forced to stop speaking the Hebrew language. We were forced to worship a white Jesus. We were forced to worship on Sunday. Okay? We were forced to eat pork. Okay, we were forced to do these things that we 300 years later. Most Let's be real. These things are shocking. These things can be hurtful. You may think it's damaging, but it's not damaging. This is a dark subject, but we got to talk about it. Okay, so when we go to Acts 13, verse 1, we are looking at a church in the city of Antioch where some Israelites were actually teachers. And this, I believe, was recorded by Saul, um, who, I believe this was recorded by Saul, but Acts the 13th chapter and verse 1 will say here, now there were in the church that was at Antioch certain prophets and teachers, as Barnabas and Simon, that was called Niger, Niger. Now, you wouldn't pronounce it nigger because it doesn't have the two G's. And back then, 2,000 years ago, you did not have Niger being pronounced as nigger. You're going to pronounce it Niger, as it's written in the Bible with the one G. So let me continue. Acts 13, verse 1. I'm in the middle of that verse. Certain prophets and teachers, as Barnabas and Simeon, that was called Niger. They were called Niger. The definition of the word Niger is black as the ground. So they were called black people. So the word Niger is a root word for the word nigger over time. So you're having Simeon and Barnabas and Simeon being known as, they didn't have, okay. So the verse continues on by saying, and Lucius of Cyrene and Manin, which had been brought up with Herod the Tetrarch and Saul. Okay, so with Herod the Tetrarch and Saul. I need to do a little research on that tetrarch word. Excuse me for that, my people. I'm reading this straight out the Bible, and I do have my I got my Strong's, so I probably need to go to my Strong's. I don't have it on the phone though. I have it. I have the book, but I do that. I go to the Strong's a lot. Try packing. Okay. Um, okay. So you got to understand. Nigger was made, and then when we look at the '90s rap, how the rap artists really projected that word and made it a common word because you got to understand the effect that because okay, so when we're looking at the '90s rap industry, the word nigger, when rap has become a household word, very common word amongst not just black people. You see it all the time on social media. White people calling each other niggas, calling niggas niggas. You can even see, some Hispanics. You have these other these heathen nations who get a certain energy and obtain a certain love for what they think our culture is. The created um, black experience, the created black culture of America. They hold fast to it. They get into it. That's what music can do. Music can get into your heart and your mind. It really That's why spiritual music is what it does. So, so we see the same thing happening with the '90s rap culture. For that word nigger was just really, hammered in the psyche of our people. And today we rightfully so don't want to call that because of the image that was put on it. But that's why you gotta do your history. You got to learn your own history. You got to understand that life is really the history, um, and that we're in a dangerous situation today where the Bible is about to be labeled as hate speech. There's a reason for that. There's a physical reason for that, and there's a spiritual reason. Okay, because we know that it's not. It is a spiritual. We see that more and more, very very clearly today. So that spiritual battle is to continue to pull us down, to keep us in that conditioning mindset, keep us cut off from the truth. Okay, so that's what I want. This is what I wanted to cover. That my people, I wanted to bring this evidence, this documented evidence, this truth about our people. You know, important for us to literally what's going on on a regular basis. We ourselves have to begin to take control. We have to take steps to correct this misconception and to change the problems. Yeah, change these. To change, correct. Thing. So let's see. Because we got the comments. See, claim your inheritance. almost sapient. He's letting us know more than just presentations. All praises to the Most High. Yes, I will get smoother as a host. I've always wanted to do. Always kind of wanted to do broadcasting school. I'm actually a singer-songwriter who turned into an entrepreneur. When I came, I kind of lost the desire to sing party music, and so there's not a big market for truth music, or spiritual music, because I'm also kind of separated. I don't even sing, the name of Jesus. My music, the Most High, and the truth. You're not gonna catch me singing, party music and that kind of stuff. So when I lost opportunities to sing and make a living, then I turned to becoming an entrepreneur, and I saw a need to make all natural products for brothers. And my biggest thing was helping brothers get off of the commercial deodorants, the toxic, poisonous commercial deodorants. So I created a really nice product, an all natural product that's sort of an armpit treatment that manages brother's pH balance naturally. And the product can be used by brothers and also children. I have a 9-year-old that I'm using the product on, and it's keeping his natural smell down, because I didn't realize that children produce that type of smell. But boy, one day when my 9-year-old came in from the house and I was smelling something, I couldn't believe it was coming from him, and I had to investigate. It was coming from him. So ever since then, I started using my product. So I know for a fact the product that I had intended for men can be used by women and children. It's a fact. So check out my product. I own that product that Shalom Care for you. I'm just trying to introduce myself, y'all, and have you understand me as a brother, as a Hebrew Israelite, as a fellow black man, um, how I look at it. I don't consider myself African. In modern terms, I'll say African Americans and American Negroes are both black people, but two different black nations. And I'm going to say that American Negroes can show love and respect for African Americans, and African Americans can show respect and love for American Negroes. Can acknowledge themselves as people. Okay, if Asians can be Chinese, Japanese, and Korean, if white people can be Irish, Scottish, German, Scandinavian, Iceland, if they can be all different nations, why on earth would every single black person on North American soil be an African American? We need to wake up, my people. We need to discover the truth. We have a fascinating, beautiful ancient history of black nations. So, you know, black nations can be Ethiopians, black nations can be Egyptians, black nations can be the ancient Hebrews. Okay, black nations can also be the native Negroes, native here on North American soil centuries before Christopher Columbus even showed up. Okay, I think Christopher Columbus was recorded as to show up off the Atlantic coast in 1492. But when he got here, he discovered black people. We're gonna go into that more next week. We're gonna read some of the statements of the explorers who came to North America, how they recorded what they described. Okay, back then, they wrote everything down. Details, detailed notes. and very descriptive about who they saw. So, so my statement here is that we as Black people are many Black nations, and it is up to us to discover them and to walk in them, to take ownership of them. All praises to the Most High for truth, for this truth going forth, my people. Very important. And this is actually prophecy. It is prophesied that our people would, in these modern times, that our people would wake up. I think there was in Genesis 15th chapter, the 13th and the 14th verse, where the Most High is talking to Abram and telling him, hey, your people, not just your people in this time, but the future generation, if they don't hear my words and follow my laws and commandments, your future generation will be enslaved in a land that is not their own, and they will be afflicted for 400 years. It's spelled out, and it also talks about the nation that would afflict them, what would happen to them. So we're talking about. I'm not quoting it perfectly, but I'm just giving you a synopsis, the ideal of that verse in Genesis chapter 15, verse 13 and 14. It's real important for our people that we understand that word, and that there's a danger going on with the Bible being labeled as hate speech, because if if modern day homosexualities who have now been set in government positions feel attacked regarding the verses that speak against that lifestyle, then what they do is they can make the entire Bible seem like hate speech when that is our history. I think there's 4 places in the Bible that discusses the issue of homosexuality, four verses. But how are you going to deem the entire Bible hate speech? That's going to be a lot of books, because when you're looking at the Bible, you've got Genesis to Revelations. Okay, Genesis being the New Testament, and then you're going to end the part of the Old Testament. You're going to end the New Testament with the book of Revelation. That's not the complete Bible. Because we're discovering that the Bible was a lot bigger, and that there was a lot of information separated and hidden, so that our people would never discover who we are. Okay, so the Bible is full of information, direction, secrets, things that have to be figured out, by precepting the Bible. So studying it, knowing it. So, what I want to do is I want to hear from people out there who are listening. Let me see where we are with time. Okay, so we started at about 7:05, about an hour and a half in. So if we have anybody who wants to make a comment or have a question, we want to allow you to do that. We need to paste the link for you to do that in the chat. And if you want to make a comment, we'd love to hear from you. If you have a question, we'd love to hear from you. If you have some more knowledge, we'd love to hear from you. And that's no problem. But this is real, my people. This is where it's at. We need to be real about this. We need to be bold about this. Like I said, we need to connect with this. This is our truth. I don't know why that's still up. So, But I want to say just once again, thank you so much for any listeners who are out there. Um, that is the extent of the information that I wanted to share on this week's episode of Talk, music and marketing materials, and the American pastime of people. Um, just bring forth the truth. Just know that reparations are due, are long overdue. That we may not ever get it. But what we can do is while we're waiting for the Most High to return and judge and return us to our promised land, the first thing we need to do as Hebrews, of course, is we need to be following the laws, the statutes, and commandments. No doubt. That's what we should be busy doing. But while we're doing that, we also have a responsibility to be an example to the world. Walk before them as an example, like see that spirit on us. And like I said, we don't have it. We don't have hatred in our heart. We're not to do that, and we will not do. We will not do to nations what the nations have done to us, because we understand how that will in that situation. Somebody else shared it too. So all praises, my people. There's no questions, no comments. I want to say this has been a real pleasure of mine. I'm just excited about what can grow from this. I would hope that we would come together more as a people, try to connect with what has happened. One thing I'd like to see happen is that anniversary of Wall Street, that we could go there and go to, which is just Tulsa, Oklahoma. You go to Tulsa, you would see the monument, even the museum, the area where the heart of Wall Street was. I went down for the anniversary. You will have an encounter with answers. You come together, you sing songs, you pray. Now, I'm not talking about worship. All I'm talking about is connecting with what happened for our people. You connect with it. And the Most High is, He covers you. He will meet you there and cover you. No, I'm not. Hyla, Hyla. Forgive me if I don't pronounce your name right. So, my name, is. I'm not claiming to be king of the Israelites. The the one true king. Okay, and then when you get into the history of the Hebrew, you'll know that king. So me taking the name King Melek ZakarYah is just that we, as a people, our history goes back in that we are the original kings and queens of this earth, the intended judges of this earth. So King James was a black king. He was a king. So I call myself king just to show little black boys, little black girls that black people, we actually come from kings, our foundation, of kings in our ancient history. So yeah, so to answer your question, now when people walk up to me ground and they say hi and they say I'm king, then they acknowledge me. Yeah, whatever, but I don't think it's that hard, something like that. I'm serious about understanding history, you know, understanding that the American Negro, okay, the modern day descendants of American Negro slaves are the modern day descendants of the Hebrew Israelites who wrote and documented the Bible. The tribe of Judah is the house of kings. So long before any white person was a king, you were. You were. So I'm just being an example of that. Thank you for your question. There's no question that is wrong. There's no question. You ask what you want to ask. All praises to the Most High. So hopefully you heard something other than that. But cool. Beautiful. And I'm not the only one actually. I see lots of brothers. There's lots of brothers on Facebook. You go on Facebook, and you search type in the word king, and a lot of brothers have king in their name. So I'm not the only one. And the Hebrew word for king is either Malak, Malak, or Melek, Melek. And from my research, Malak, the definition that I had seen was to become king. Malak, become king. And Melek was you are king. And in the Hebrew culture, your name is your character. So if you're a Hebrew Israelite and you have your name, then you look at yourself, you look at people around you who love you. What are the positive character traits about yourself? And you look at those words in Hebrew, in the Paleo Hebrew, and that could be your Hebrew name if you're trying to drop your slave name, your legal American name. Sometimes you want to just take that name and see if that has a Hebrew translation. That can be your Hebrew name as well. So there's names like Michael and other names that have actually you can find a Hebrew translation of that name. So yeah, that's a little bit about names. You know, names are important. Your name is very important, and you know, at least from my era, I was born in 1963. The name that's on my birth certificate was not well thought out. Me, and a lot of these names are the names of slave masters, the people who owned our ancestors. If you were a slave in on North America on North American soil during the years of slavery, your last name was the name of your master, slave white man who owned the family. So we have those names still today. Those names have been passed down for generations. These names like Johnson, Williams, these are English. Those are Hebrew names. Those aren't names that people got off the slaves having. We were separated from our names. We were given the names of the white man. We were labeled with his surname. So I would advise all black people, particularly those modern day descendants of American Negro slaves, there's nothing wrong with changing your name. If you hear the voice of the Most High telling you, If you want to get into names, the truth about it, you need to be congratulating me for taking the name King and having a humble attitude. Because I'm a humble brother. I'm a king that's going to serve you. I'm a king that's going to help you. I'm a king that's going to encourage you, build you up. I'm going to light your life up with a gift that you're not going to expect. That's the type of brother I am. Brother first, king second. But my name is King Melek ZakarYah to serve a purpose, to be an example of who we are. All praises to the Most High Yahweh and the Son, Yahweh Shai. All praises. All right, my people. I don't know what a Nagro is. A Nagro, aka Nagro. Great question, though. No problem. I hope I answered it. I hope you have understanding. I hope you're satisfied with my answer. Cool. So, yeah, so I think I'm winding down. I saw her question there real quick, so I answered it. And this has been an awesome time. I'm feeling good about this. And the type of thing, people, let me encourage you. If you want to do something, if you have something on your heart, don't procrastinate. Don't sit on it. Do something about it. Come out there. Do it. Be an example for your people. But I'm telling you, we don't need no more basketball players and football players. We don't need no more rappers. We need some leaders of nations, nation builders to step up for our people. Hallelujah. Some nation builders. Okay, I'm signing off. This has been the next show will be April 7th. I'll go live at 7 p.m. Um, thank each of you for blessing